Hello friends, welcome to Saker Academy. This is module 8 about AZ-900 Microsoft Azure Fundamental Certification Real Exam Questions and Concepts. In this module, I will provide 20 more real exam questions and concepts. So let's begin the question. AZ-900 exam question number 111. You have 50 virtual machines hosted on premises and 50 virtual machines hosted in Azure. The on-premises virtual machines and the Azure virtual machines connect to each other. Which type of cloud model is this? Like we have 50 virtual machines hosted on premises and another 50 virtual machines hosted in Azure. So this will be hybrid cloud model, right? So the right answer is hybrid cloud model. AZ-900 exam question number 112. Your company has a software assurance agreement that includes Microsoft SQL Server licenses. You plan to deploy SQL Server on Azure virtual machines. What should you do to minimize licensing costs for the deployment? The options we have: A. Deallocate the virtual machines during off hours. B. Use Azure hybrid benefit. C. Configure Azure cost management budgets. And D. Use Azure reservations. Here, right, so you plan to deploy SQL Server on Azure virtual machines, and your company have an agreement, has a software assurance agreement that includes already with Microsoft SQL Server license, right? So again, the right answer is here: use Azure hybrid benefit, which will have a public and private cloud benefits. AZ-900 exam question number 113. The company would like to develop a cloud solution by making use of Azure Government. Azure Government can only be used by certain types of clients to develop cloud solutions. Which type of the following are the types of customers that can make use of Azure Government in this situation? The options we have: a government contractor from any country, a government entity from any country, a European government contractor, a European government entity, a United States government contractor, and a United States government entity. Right? In the Azure government will support, right, so all the services under the Azure government, right, subscriptions, it will support only the United States government contractor and a United States government sector entity currently. So the right answer is a United States government contractor and a United States government entity. The next question, AZ-900 exam question number 114. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true, otherwise select no. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. So in the answer area, we have three statements. Let's go to the statement 1. Azure provides flexibility between capital expenditure and operational expenditure. Options we have yes or no, right? So Azure, yes, this is Azure. It will provide you the flexibility where you can choose capital expenditure or the operational expenditure. So the right answer is yes. Next statement is, if you create two Azure virtual machines that use the B2S size, each virtual machine will always generate the same monthly cost. So this again, the right answer is no, right? So see, the region wise the cost will be different. Azure, they will charge different cost and monthly, right? So the right answer is no. Third statement is, when an Azure virtual machine is stopped, you continue to pay storage cost associated to the virtual machine, right? So this is the right answer is yes. So even if you stop the virtual machine, so the whatever the services associated to the virtual machine, right, so still you have to pay the cost to maintain the those resources. So the right answer is yes. AZ-900 exam question number 115. You have an on-premises network that contains several servers. You plan to migrate all the servers to the Azure. You need to recommend a solution to ensure that some of the servers are available if a single Azure data center goes offline for an extended period. What should you include in the recommendation? Options: A. Fault tolerance, B. Elasticity, C. Scalability, and D. Low latency. See here, if a single Azure data center goes offline for an extended period, so how ensure that services to be available, right? So the right answer is A. Fault tolerance. So that is the right answer here, A. Fault tolerance. AZ-900 exam question number 116. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. In the answer area, the statement is here: when planning to migrate a public website to Azure, you must plan to. So here the options we have: deploy a VPN, pay monthly usage cost, pay to transfer all the website data to Azure, reduce the number of connection to the website. Right? So when you are planning to migrate a public website to Azure, you must plan to, right? So usually you are just in the planning, you are just migrating the public website, right? So you have to think about, like, initially what are the charges we have to, what are the Azure what are the charges we have to pay for the, to Azure, right? So for the website, so the right answer is pay monthly usage cost, right? So the right answer is pay monthly usage cost. So that's why you will understand that how much usage and what will be the Azure chargeable, right? So the right answer is pay monthly usage cost. AZ-900 exam question number 117. Your company hosts an accounting application named APP1 that is used by all the customers of the company. App 1 has low usage during the first week of each month and very high usage during the last week of the each month. Right? So you see, app 1 has low usage during the first week of each month and the very high usage during the last week of each month. So which benefit of Azure Cloud Services supports cost management for this type of usage pattern? The options we have: high availability, B. high latency, C. elasticity, and D. load balancing. The right answer is C. elasticity, right? So by opting, this is the best service, right? It's elasticity, so that will more benefit under the Azure cloud service. So when we have this scenario, AZ-900 exam question number 118. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. In the answer area, the statement is here: Azure Site Recovery provides for virtual machines. The options we have here: fault tolerance, disaster recovery, elasticity, and high availability. So we have to choose the right answer here. See, Azure Site Recovery provides which service here, right? So the right answer is fault tolerance. So the best recovery service in the Azure, right? So for the fault tolerance, whenever we have any service or any outage, right? So any failure, right? So the fault tolerance will more benefit in the Azure site recovery plan. AZ-900 exam question number 119. Match the Azure Cloud Services benefit to the correct description. Instruction: to answer, drag the appropriate benefit from the column on the left to its description on the right. Each benefit may be used once or more than once or not at all. Note, each correct match is worth 1 point. The options we have in here, right? The answer options: disaster recovery, fault tolerance, low latency, and dynamic scalability. And answer statements: a cloud service that remains available after a failure occurs, a cloud service that can be recovered after a failure occurs, a cloud service that performs quickly when demand increases, a cloud service that can be accessed quickly from the internet, right? So the right options we have, see, when we have the cloud service that remains available after fail occurs, right? So this will be under fault tolerance, right? And the second one, a cloud service that can be recovered, means disaster recovery. So whenever there is a failure occur, right? So this disaster recovery feature will support. And a cloud service that perform quickly when demand increases. So scalability, basically scalability will work more efficiently here, right? So the dynamic scalability is the right option. And then last one, a statement, a cloud service that can be accessed quickly from the internet. So another great feature in Azure, right? So the low latency is in Azure, where you can access any service quickly from the internet. AZ-900 exam question number 120. Your company has an on-premises network that contains multiple servers, and the company plans to reduce the following administrative responsibilities: backup application data, replacing failed server hardware, managing physical server security, updating server operating systems, man managing permissions to shared documents. The company plans to migrate servers to the Azure virtual machines, and you need to identify which administrative responsibilities will be eliminated after the planned migration. So which two responsibilities should you identify? Each correct answer presents a complete solution here, and note each correct selection is worth 1 point. The options we have: A. Replacing failed server hardware, B. Backup application data, and C. Managing physical server security, D. Updating server operating system, and E. Managing permissions to shared documents. So the right answer is here: replacing failed server hardware and managing physical server security. AZ-900 exam question number 121. Your company has 10 departments and the company plans to implement an Azure environment. You need to ensure that each department can use a different payment option for the Azure services it consumes. What should you create for each department? The options we have: A. Reservation, a subscription, a resource group, and a container instance. So you need the different payment option here. So different payment option in the sense you have to the different subscription for each department, right? So the right option is B, a subscription. AZ-900 exam question number 122. Your company plans to migrate to Azure, and the company has several departments, and all the Azure resources used by each department will be managed by the department administrator. What are two possible techniques to segment Azure for the departments? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note each correct selection is worth 1 point. The options we have: multiple subscriptions, B. Multiple Azure Active Directory directories, and C. Multiple regions, and D. Multiple resource group. So the right answer is A. Multiple subscriptions and D. Multiple resource groups. AZ-900 exam question number 123. Your company plans to start using Azure and will migrate all its network resources to the Azure. You need to start the planning process by exploring Azure. So what should you create first? So the options we have: A. Subscription, B. Resource group, C. A virtual network, and D. A management group. So the right answer is A subscription. So to explore, or if you're planning to Azure, right? So you should have the subscription where you can utilize these services or resources under the Azure. The right answer is A subscription. AZ-900 exam question number 124. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true, otherwise select no. Note each correct selection is worth 1 point. Statements we have: Statement 1. A single Microsoft account can be used to manage multiple Azure subscriptions. The options we have yes and no. So the single Microsoft account can be used to migrate multiple Azure subscriptions? So the right answer is yes. So the one account where you can have a multiple subscription. So you don't need to maintain the different account, Microsoft account for the different Azure subscriptions. So the only one account, Microsoft account, you can have many Azure subscriptions under that. Right answer is yes. Next statement is two Azure subscriptions can be merged into a single subscription. So this is option no, right? So you cannot have these two Azure subscriptions. You cannot merge into the single subscription, right? So the right answer is no. Third statement, a company can use resources from multiple subscriptions. So the right answer is yes. It can use all the resources under the different and multiple subscriptions. AZ-900 exam question number 1 to 5. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. The answer in the answer area, we have the statement, right? So you have several virtual machines in an Azure subscription and you create a new subscription. So what should you do? The options we have, the virtual machines cannot be moved to the new subscription. The virtual machines can be moved to the new subscription. The virtual machines can be moved to the new subscription only if they are all in the same resource group. And last option, the virtual machines can be moved to the new subscription only if they run Windows Server 2016. So the right answer is here, the virtual machines can be moved to the new subscription. AZ-900 exam question number 1 to 6. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true, otherwise select no. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point here. So the three statements we have. Let's go to this statement 1. Each Azure subscription can contain multiple account administrators. The options we have yes and no. So the right answer is no. You cannot have the multiple account administrators for each Azure subscription, right? The next statement is each Azure subscription can be managed by using a Microsoft account only. This is also no, right? So you can have a different, you can have an organized account also, right? So the company which will usually manage the subscription, right? So this is also the right answer is no. And third statement is an Azure resource group contains multiple Azure subscriptions. So this is also option no. Answer is option no. AZ-900 exam question number 1 to 7. What is required to use Azure cost management? Right. So options we have a dev test subscription, B, software assurance, C, an enterprise agreement, D, a pay as you go subscription. So the right answer is C, an enterprise agreement. You need to have enterprise agreement if you want to use the Azure cost management resource. The right answer is C. AZ-900 exam question number 1 to 8. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true, otherwise select no. Each correct selection is worth 1 point. So the three statements we have. Let's go to the statement 1. A user who is assigned the owner role can transfer ownership of an Azure subscription. Options we have yes and no. The right answer is no, you cannot transfer the ownership, right? So the right answer is no. Next statement is you can convert the Azure subscription of your company from free trial to pay as you go. So the right answer is yes. So you can now convert the free trial subscription to pay as you go model. Next statement is the Azure's spending limit is fixed and cannot be increased or decreased. The right answer is yes. So there is, so this is managed by the Azure, right? So you will not have any ability or access to limit the spending limit for the any resource. So the right answer is yes. AZ-900 exam question number 129. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true, otherwise select no. Each correct selection is worth 1 point. Statement 1. An Azure subscription can be associated to multiple Azure Active Directory tenants. The right answer is here no. Subscription cannot be associated to multiple Azure Active Directory tenants. Right, so the right answer is no. Statement 2. You can change the Azure Active Directory tenant to which an Azure subscription is associated. This is yes, you can change. Third statement. When an Azure subscription expires, the associated Azure Active Directory tenant is deleted automatically. No, this will be no. AZ-900 exam question number 130. Who can use the Azure total cost of ownership calculator? Options we have: A, billing readers for an Azure subscription only, B, owners for an Azure subscription only, C, anyone, and D, all users who have an account in Azure Active Directory that is linked to an Azure subscription only. So the right answer is here anyone who is having the Azure cloud, those can use the Azure total cost ownership calculator. So there is no restriction, so anyone can access the Azure total TCO, TCO. So the right answer is C. With this, we completed module 8 AZ-900 Microsoft Azure Fundamental Certification Real Exam questions and concepts. So if you are new to my channel, don't forget to like, share, subscribe my channel and provide your valuable comments, and thanks for watching.